Well, it's about 8 o'clock. You won't be able to see this, but there's a spider here. Huge spider's web. And it goes from that kaffir lime tree right the way to this tree. And I used to wonder how the spider got from there to there. And there's a web here. There's one strand here that goes from that tree to that tree. And I used to wonder, I used to think, what does he walk down up and then no, apparently I watched a little video on it, God bless YouTube, and it was this spider, and it's on this its jump off point, and it waits for a bit of a breeze to go the way it wants to go, and it leaps off and it literally glides through the earth, spinning its web as it goes, and lands on its trajectory point. Fascinating. Now then, what am I up to today? Well, surprise, surprise, I'm in the garden again. And the thumbnail today, Dig for Victory. Clearly that was from World War II. Back in 1939, Britain could not feed itself with a population of about 40 million. And we were reliant on food coming from what was then the Commonwealth. A lot came from Australia, a lot from New Zealand, India, right across what was the British Empire. And of course a lot from Canada, a lot of wheat from Canada, and then a lot also came from America. And clearly there was nothing coming from Europe, because Europe was occupied by the Germans, the enemy of the day. So my own grandfather had a gammy foot. His foot, I think it was his left foot, got crushed in a mining accident when he was a young fella, and they wanted to amputate it and they wouldn't let them. So consequently, his ankle, everything in his ankle was fused into literally into one, and none of that action. So he walks with a limp. Now he had a farm, about 100 acres. He only rented it, hence it wasn't passed down to me. He had this farm, and the Ministry of Agriculture came around and they instructed him what crops he had to grow and in which field. So they would come along and say, you plant cabbage in that field, turnips in that field, potatoes in that field, blah de blah. Well, one of the fields that they instructed him to plant on was on a slope. It was like this. It was a sloping bank, and of course in those days he used to plough with a horse and plough, and he walked behind the plough. Now because of his gammy leg, he could manage the flat fields, but he couldn't manage the sloping field. And he had no sons. He'd got two daughters, my mum and my auntie, and so he went to Preston to where the auctions are, a place called Preston Farmers, and there was a tractor in the window, and he said, I'll have that tractor. And they said, well, you know, we haven't got any, that's just for display purposes. And my granddad, being my granddad, said, I've got the brass in my pocket, I want that one. And he got it, and he was probably one of the first tractors in Lancashire. Anyway, so everybody, the men were going off to war, so there was what was called a land army, which was girls who were taught agriculture. Girls came out of the city who'd never seen agriculture, never milked a cow or fed a pig or chickens or grew whatever, and the ministry, because of the war effort, was mobilised and they were taught how to grow, look after animals, etc., etc., and a cracking job they did too. But every, you know, the lawns in any house was dug up and planted food, and people were encouraged to grow their own food to supplement their own diet. And of course everything on the farms went to the ministry, and it was rationed. My dad's dad had a small holding, and he used to keep pigs and poultry, again strictly rationed. And one day him and his friend had a van, and they'd slaughtered a pig from my granddad's farm, and they were taking it off to sell it illegally on the black market, if you like. And it was at night, and they had this butchered pig in the back, and they're going through, the village was called Coppell near Chorley, and they're going through the village, and out of the dark steps the police sergeant with a lamp, and it's like, stop. So I mean, there's no traffic on the road in those days, so Grandad's friend stops, and they wind the window down, and the bobby says, sergeant says, "Now then, Peter," my granddad, "now then, Peter, where'd I go in this time of night? Where are you going this time of night?" So my granddad says, well, he said, "Sergeant," whatever his name was, he said, "you've caught us red-handed." He said, "We've slaughtered a pig, it's in the back, and I've got a couple of dozen eggs in the back, and we're going to sell them on the black market." Well, the sergeant started laughing. He said, "Peter, they're a card." I mean, he was a joker. "Go on the way." A true story. So anyway, getting back to digging for victory. No need to top that up. Well, it's cool. It's not evaporating the same, and it is cool. It is cool. It's not cold, but it's cool. So in this day and age, with what's happening in the UK with the farmers, another beautiful spider's web, and a spider there in the middle, huge web. What's going on in the UK with this current government, and they've been targeting, not only this government, they've been targeting farmers for a number of years, and telling them to rewild and grow wildflowers and all that carry on, which is an absolute load of bollocks when people need feeding. Spider's web. You all know me, I love wildlife, I love nature, I enjoy growing, but people have to come first. And if Britain couldn't feed itself in 1939 with a population of around 40 million, what chance have they got now with a population around about 70 million? Okay, farming practices have advanced, evolved, but very much like Thailand and Australia, farmers are becoming aged, and the kids don't want to go into it because it's 7 days a week, and it's hard work, and they're at the mercy of the weather, and they're at the mercy of market prices, etc., etc. Certainly in Thailand, a lot of the rice land has been sold off because the kids, they want to go to college after school or university, and they want to work in a bank or an office or Tesco, or go down to Bangkok and work in a factory for a salary. They don't want to toil in the fields with rice and the like, because it is damned hard work. So more and more food is getting compressed, if you like, or the production of food is getting compressed. Now up here I've got a lovely pumpkin forming, more pumpkins, and I'll put that branch up on the roof so the fruit that forms will be supported by that net. The fruit that forms in this strata, I'll create hammocks for it. And then down here, all coming through to say hello to you. Oh, these are all my onion sets that are well growing. These are a beefsteak tomato coming on. These are a huge tomato. And then here there's just a few coming through. There's a 4 dozen, I think it's 4 dozen garlics I planted in there. These are flowers. More I harvested loads of tomatoes off here and took them for Stephen yesterday. These are some cabbage that are being nibbled. So I'm going to have to come out tonight with a torch or a flashlight and find out what is nibbling them. And I shall nibble it away. Be a snail or a slug. So I've got loads more cabbage, collie and broccoli to go in here. And we can't go without looking at the fruit here on the peppers. Look at these rascals, they're beautiful, very nice. And these are potatoes. So you know, you can contain a garden, and I want to show you something, and this is for a couple of kind people who brought me nasturtium seeds. Now, I've tried like mad to grow nasturtiums and failed miserably, but I've got these to grow, and I've put them out where they catch a lot of sunshine to induce the flowers. So hopefully I'm going to have my favourite flowers on there. Now I cleared loads of this, and May's cleared the rest of it, and she's this is our raised general bed, and in this she's sown oilseed rape, and you can see all these here. These are the oilseed rape seeds. Typical Thai, just thrown it on top, watered it, let nature take its course. So Ping cut down all the bank, and then everything went into the compost. Now these 2 compost bins are getting ram jam full, and I've got cardboard on top. Now don't turn these, I'll let nature take its course with these. And this will take a few months to break down, unlike my compost bins. Now the reason I've got the top off this one is because these seeds had grown. Now there's about a dozen in there, seeds that have, now what they are the papaya seeds that May give me the papaya skins. I chopped them up and thrown them in. There's a few seeds, so they've germinated. So what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put them in some little pots, and then as they progress on, we'll plant them in the garden. You don't waste them, you know. So there you go. The other thing I've got to do today is I'm reinstating the cherry tomatoes where they grew down over the wall. That's being reinstated today. So lots and lots to do. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. So from World War II Dig for Victory, in view of what is going on in the world, wherever you are, you'd be fairly well advised to plant a bit of something, you know, even if it's only lettuce in a window box or on a balcony. You know what I'm saying? There's loads of opportunities to grow veggies and salads, loads. You'd be amazed what you can grow in a box, in a container. So have a go. You'll get some good food. It's rewarding in itself, and you'll enjoy it. Bye bye for now. Dig for victory. Dig for survival.